Hey guys, I'm Warboros. Let's play Persona 3 Reloaded. It is August 11th, and it is the second day of summer school. I know it's hot, everyone, but let's try and get through class. Focus pocus, Still, who would have thought people would actually attend this course over the summer? You sure are a curious lot. Not really sure what to make of that. Well, anyway, let's talk about something interesting today. All you future magicians will want to pay close attention. Today's subject is tarot. Hey, I've done a whole series, well, I'm mostly through a whole series on my other channel about tarot cards. That's right, those cards are often used in fortune telling. Despite originating in the 15th century Europe as normal playing cards, they have now evolved into tools of divination. There are a variety of tarot card decks, including the Marseille and the Rider decks. But today, in honor of the great Crowley, we will be using the Thoth deck. First, let's talk about the composition of the deck. The modern 78 card tarot deck is divided into two parts. There are 22 major arcana, face cards, and 56 minor arcana, or the number cards. The minor arcana are also sometimes called pip cards. The major arcana feature a variety of illustrations on their faces, beginning with the Fool and ending with the Universe. They tell a story in numerical order that represents an individual's journey through life. Each major arcana represents a stage on that journey, and each stage represents an event an individual must experience to achieve wholeness.
Let's do just that.
They are all important, so let's take a look at each of the 22 cards one by one. The first card, numbered 0, is the Fool. It represents beginnings and suggests infinite possibilities. In other words, the beginning of life. The next card, the Magician, represents action and initiative, but also immaturity. The High Priestess represents contemplation and inner knowledge. The Empress represents both motherhood and maternal love, as well as one's vitality. The Emperor is an opposing card. It represents fatherhood, as well as leadership and decision-making skills. The Hierophant represents formality and knowledge. It is a symbol for religion. The Lovers represent choice. Here, the individual finally begins to develop a conscience. The Chariot represents the individual's victory, but only a momentary one. Justice is exactly what it sounds like, knowing what is right and what is wrong. The Hermit represents self-reflection. In other words, searching for answers deep within one's heart. Fortune represents faith and the opportunities it brings. Strength represents both passion and self-control. It is depicted as power with reason. The Hanged Man reflects the individual's inability to take action. Spiritual death awaits the individual with the 13th card, which is aptly named Death. Death is considered a transitional card. With death, the old ends and the new begins.
All right.
Now, let us move on to what happens following the transition. Temperance is the balancing of opposites. Opening one's eyes to the world allows for growth. And then an encounter with the devil is where one faces temptation. At the Tower, the individual's values will start to collapse. It seems as if there is nothing to believe in. The individual then finds a glimmer of hope in the Star, granting one peace and serenity. In turn, this makes one vulnerable to the Moon's illusions, which gives way to fear and trepidation. But the individual may be rewarded with the bright future by the Sun, which signifies true achievement. Judgment awaits the individual at the journey's end when looking back on the path one has traveled. The final card is the Universe, which represents the individual reaching full awareness. And that's the growth of an individual as explained by the tarot cards. Perhaps all this talk about life doesn't hit home with you young folks just yet, Well now, you can use all 78 cards to divine the future in detail, but most people only use the 22 major arcana. Okay, next, let's talk about fortune telling when using the major arcana. This is a lot longer talk than I remember. First, you need to shuffle the deck. If a card is reversed, the meaning will change. Now, this is important, so pay attention. Oh, I guess that's it. He continues to draw on and on, but that is probably the most important lecture in the entire series. Because all the social links, all the confidants, have a corresponding tarot card, and I think it's incredibly interesting to learn how those different stories, how those different character arcs relate to the tarot cards. If you want to learn more about that, go to my main channel, Oro Talks, watch the Tarot Study series. I've been working on it for like a year at this point. It's a lot of fun. I think it's interesting. But he continues to drone on, just like I am, and despite the summer heat, you all managed to pay attention to my lecture. And we get 2 extra points of academics because we are super smart.